so really curious around those times. So you decided to move from Boston or Illinois from Chicago to the Bay Area. Like, what about network? It's a lot about the kind of network you built, and you're moving from a completely new city, starting a new company. How did you go about finding the right people to work with and building those connections?
Very good question. It was very tough because I had maybe 1 or 2 contacts here, very limited, and I had to start from scratch. And starting a company, hiring people, building the technology, not myself, but and building a company and networking. So I was just basically around the clock between working the companies, and almost every evening I went to a different event just to meet people, networking. Some events were worthless, and some were interesting, but I got to meet some interesting people. This is how I got to my first customer, which was Genentech, through networking event, and on and on. So starting from basically ground level all the way up to building a company.
Want to sort of discuss just some very nuanced things that a lot of people probably don't think about. So, for example, if I've moved here from India, my habits, my hobbies, my interests are very different than a lot of people who are U.S. citizens. Basically, grew up with a very different culture, and you end up meeting a lot of people because of shared interests. Right. So, in addition to doing the things that you are interested in as an individual, you also do things that may help you meet some people to build your network. Did you have any of those things? Like, were you, as you mentioned earlier, you went to a lot of events, right. Hiring? Not sure if that was what you were interested in, or you just did it because you had to make the company work.
Yeah, so networking was challenging the first 8 years in Chicago, but once I moved here to the Bay Area, to Silicon Valley, it seems like it's the land of immigrants.
Yeah.
And people are much more open, and I think we all had a common interest, which is technology. So networking events were about technology, which helped sort of break down the barriers of different ethnic groups, different backgrounds, and help people kind of put them together. But networking was a big part, and it was much easier doing it here. And even today, it seems like it's a lot more open and accommodating here in the Silicon Valley.
Compared to like 30 years ago.
Yes, absolutely.